Om. 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 Sahana bhavatu, Sahano bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayamudiraye. Pratasmarami radhi samspuradatmatattvam Satchit sukham paramaham sagatim turiyam Yat swapna jagara sushuptam aveti nityam Tad brahma nishkalamaham nacha bhuta sangha. Hari Om. Jai Gurudev. We were just looking at the wonderful shlokas. We will revise few shlokas yesterday and then we will move forward. If you want me to read any shloka once again, just let me know. I will just read the shloka and its meaning. Bahya nitya sukha saktim hitvatma sukha nirvrutaha ghatastha deepavat swasthaha svantareva prakashate. The self-abiding Jivan Mukta, relinquishing all his attachments to the illusory external happiness and satisfied with the bliss derived from the Atman, shines inwardly like a lamp placed inside a jar. Upadhisthopi taddharmaihi alipto vyomavannmunihi sarvavinmudhavatishtheta asakto vayuvaccharet. Though he lives in the conditionings, upadhis, he, the contemplative one, remains ever unconcerned with anything, or he may move about like the wind, perfectly unattached. Upadhi vilayad Vishnu nirvishesham vishen munihi Jale jalam viyadvayonme tejas tejasivayathi. In the description of the upadhis, the contemplative one is totally absorbed in Vishnu, the all-pervading spirit, like water into water, space into space, and light into light. Yalla paro labho yat sukhanna param sukham yajnanana param jnanam tad brahmetyavadharayet. Realize that to be Brahman, the attainment of which leaves nothing more to be attained, the blessedness of which leaves no other blessing to be desired, and the knowledge of which leaves nothing more to be known. Yad drishtva na param drishyam, yad bhutva na punarbhavaha, यज्ञात्वा नापरं ज्ञेयं, क्षम्यतां, यज्ञात्वा नापरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. That to be Brahman which, when seen, leaves nothing more to be seen, which having become one, is not born again in this world, and which, when knowing, leaves nothing else to be known. तिर्यगूर्ध्वमदः पूर्णं सच्चिदानन्दमद्वयम् अनन्तं नित्यमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. Realize that to be Brahman, which is existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute, which is non-dual, infinite, eternal, and one, and which fills all the quarters above and below, and all that exists in between. अतद्व्यावृत्तिरूपेण वेदान्तैर्हि लक्ष्यते द्वयम् अखण्डानन्दमेकं यत् तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत्. Realize that to be Brahman, which is non-dual, indivisible, one and blissful, and which is indicated in Vedanta as the immutable substratum realized after the negation of all tangible objects. So here, the section was described wonderfully by Swamiji. I will just read once again last few paragraphs of the last verse which we did yesterday. Reference is made here to the process of negation, which was explained earlier. None can directly reach the all-pervading Brahman, who is not an object of cognition, but is itself the subjective reality, ever illumining all thoughts and actions. Being one without a second, it does not admit of any difference from similar or dissimilar objects. This indivisible and immutable self is not an important factor, but a positive state of infinite bliss. The Upanishads indicate that this self is reached by a process of negation of what it is not and of assertion of what it is, the very substratum for all the existence. So we have to understand that it is the very substratum on which the whole creation exists. It is that infinite, Ananda Chidananda Rupa, that indivisible, immutable self. Are not our minds limited? Are not our thoughts in their impurity ever unsteady? Are not the object of cognition ever changing and of a perishable nature? What is it that is changeless in all this welter of change? Kshamyatam, welter of change. What is the one life force on account of which there is the manifestation of matter? Who illumines the inert matter? Who injects matter with the vigor and vitality of life? What exists behind all this pluralistic existence? Which is the homogeneous and the all-permeating spirit in all objects? What keeps all things in one loving embrace, like the string in a garland of pearls? That is the substratum, the basis of our own self, which cannot be objectively pursued, but can be subjectively experienced as the pure consciousness, Atman. In the earlier three stanzas, the self was indicated with a definition by differentiation, yet in consonance with it, technically called as Tatastha Lakshana. From here onwards, we have a description of the life spark in us by the direct method called Swarupa Lakshana.
Jai Gurudev Belaji.
Yes.
Yesterday I was listening to the recording as I could not complete the class yesterday. The Tatastha Lakshana. It was I went to the Google, the definition which Swami Sivanand ji has described, that a thing can be divided. Am I audible?
Yeah, very much audible.
A thing can be defined in three ways. Firstly, by distinguishing it from others. That is called the Vyavartaka Lakshana. Second is by pointing out its apparent attributes. That is called the Tathastha Lakshana, which we are reading in this. And the third is by describing its essential nature. That is the Swarupa Lakshana. And the examples which Swamiji gave was Vyavartaka Lakshana. He said that distinguishing it from others, like if a house is in the north of some particular house is on the north of another house. So that is distinguishing it from that house. It is towards the north. That is Vyavartaka Lakshana. Then Tathastha Lakshana, he described the house wherein the crow is just perching on. It's pointing out to its apparent attributes. That is the Tathastha Lakshana. Then the Swarupa Lakshana is describing its essential nature. He said that the house which has 4 stories, that is the Swarupa of that house. That is Swarupa Lakshana. So similarly, how the Atma would be described is the Atma is, in case of Vyavartaka Lakshana, we will describe Atma as it is distinct from Anatman. That is non-self. All are casual, gross and subtle bodies. That is the Vyavartaka Lakshana. Then the Tathastha Lakshana is the Atma is the seeming substratum of the phenomenal universe. That is the Tathastha Lakshana. And the Swarupa Lakshana is that Atma is essentially the Satchidananda. This I am reading from the Google. So it is easily understandable. You can go through, like you can Google it and you will find. So the difference was clear. Like there was some confusion yesterday. Tathastha Lakshana, Swarupa. So it's described with examples and very nicely.
Yeah, Dhanyavad for sharing. Very beautifully described. Would you mind keeping it on our group, Savitaji, if it is comfortable to you, or if it is convenient to you? Otherwise, it's okay. We can put, we can do it to Google, because the names are little different, no, from what we have been used to. Swarupa and Tatastha we have learned, but that Vivikta you said, no, the first one?
Vartaka Lakshana, something like
Vivartaka Lakshana.
Vartaka, I don't know how do you spell that, but it will come somewhere. We'll see as we go along. I think the more important for us, like Tataksha Lakshana, that's just a name, but It just
Good.
it's how the thing are to be defined. How in three ways we can define the things. So that definition Swamiji gave, that how there are three lakshanas: Vyavartaka, Tathastha, and Swarupa. So the second two we are reading, and I've posted on the group. You
Okay,
can
dhanyavad.
on the WhatsApp
Dhanyavad.
group. Yeah.
Yeah. If anyone wants me to read any paragraph of whatever we have done so far, please let me know, or we can go ahead to the Swarupa Lakshana verse. Akhandarupasya tasyanand akhanda akhandanandarupasya tasyanandalavaśryaः ब्रह्माध्यास्तारतम्येन भवन्त्यां दिनोऽखिलाः. Again, some internet unstable notification. Just let me know if there is too much of breaking of voice. Akhandananda Rupasya, whose nature is unbroken bliss. Tasya, his Ananda Lavashritaha, depending only upon a particle of this bliss. Brahmadhyaha, the creator and other deities. Taratamyena, in proportion. Bhavanti, are. Anandinaha, enjoying the bliss. Akhilaha, all. Akhandananda Rupasya, Tasya, Anandalavashritaha, Brahmadhyaha, Taratamyena, Bhavanti, Anandinaha, Akhilaha. Deities like Brahma and others taste only a particle of the unlimited bliss of Brahman and enjoy in proportion their share of that particle. The footnote reads, from the creator himself, Brahmaji, down to the most undeveloped worm, the most insignificant unicellular organism, all enjoy but a share from a minute particle of this infinite bliss of the absolute Brahman. I repeat, deities like Brahma and others taste only a particle of the unlimited bliss of Brahman and enjoy in proportion their share of that particle. So it is so clear that it is the same from top to bottom, from Brahmaji, the creator, to the nanoparticle, the most undeveloped worm. Also, they have the same infinite bliss of absolute Brahman. Truth, which is by nature absolute bliss, is really endless, although the quantity actually enjoyed differs according to the capacity of the individual, be he an ordinary mortal or a meritorious and righteous man or a deva. An infinitesimal part of that infinite bliss is the lot of even Indra, the king of the gods. Brahma, the creator, the cosmic soul, tastes only a particle of this limitless bliss, Brahmananda. I repeat, that truth, which is by nature absolute bliss, is really endless, although the quantity actually enjoyed differs according to the capacity of the individual. Please remember the line. According to the capacity of the individual, you can enjoy that bliss. Be he an ordinary mortal or a meritorious and righteous man or a deva. This is a Very beautiful line. Please remember, okay? An infinitesimal part of that infinite, an infinitesimal part of that infinite bliss is the lot of even Indra, the king of the gods. Brahma, the creator, the cosmic soul, tastes only a particle of this limitless bliss, Brahmananda. On a small portion of this depends the entire world of joy. How can the poor mind and intellect measure the magnitude of this immeasurable depth of Swarupananda? Remember, this limitless joy is not actually measured here. We are only shown how even the ethereal joys of even the Creator is but a negligible joy borrowed from it. In fact, you are that absolute bliss itself. A relative picture has been drawn here to give us a wild quantitative measure of the infinitude in terms of a finite yardstick. It is so beautifully described the magnitude of Swarupananda. I will read once again. Please pay attention. On a small portion of this depends the entire world of joy. How can the poor mind and intellect measure the magnitude of this immeasurable depth of Swarupananda? Remember, this limitless joy is not actually measured here. We are only shown how even the ethereal joys of even the Creator is but a negligible joy borrowed from it. In fact, you are that absolute bliss itself. A relative picture has been drawn here to give us a wild quantitative measure of the infinitude in terms of a finite yardstick. In our daily transactions in the materialistic world, we do employ the same method. For example, in the annual meeting of a very successful business company, the managing directors may in the report suggest that they are planning to construct extensions involving a large sum of expenditure and may enumerate a dozen other items of expenditure for the convenience and recreation of the staff involving another large amount apart from a 3 months bonus to all the workers. The shareholders, flabbergasted at this colossal amount involved, would surely get ready to vote the suggestions down. But if the management were to wind up their reports saying that this entire amount budgeted for spending is but a mere 2% of the total profits, all protests are withdrawn as everybody gets a clear picture of the total profit made. This is a kind of materialistic world example. I repeat once again, very wonderfully Swamiji has described. In our daily transactions in the materialistic world, we do employ the same method. For example, in the annual meeting of a very successful business company, the managing directors may in the report suggest that they are planning to construct extensions involving a large sum of expenditure and may enumerate a dozen other items of expenditure for the convenience and recreation of the staff involving another large amount apart from a 3 months bonus to all the workers. The shareholders, flabbergasted at this colossal amount involved, would surely get ready to vote the suggestions down. But if the management were to wind up their reports saying that this entire amount budgeted for spending is but a mere 2% of the total profits, all protests are withdrawn. Everybody gets a clear picture of the total profit made. So it is clearly mentioned very beautifully that previous announcement when it was told that there will be an extension for the construction of some, you can say, the creation of the staff, and that will be apart from the 3 months bonus to all the workers. Initially, there was little apprehension, but when the management announced that it is just the 2% of their total profit, the whole, you can say that the whole protest that will be withdrawn, as everyone knows that it is how much big the total profit would be. If it is just from the 2%, they are able to plan so much. So they are happily accepted. So this is the method that has been adopted here by Shankara. If we are told that the truth is of the nature of bliss absolute, an ordinary student does not get a clear quantitative concept of the Brahmananda. No doubt there is happiness in everybody's life. There is none who lives as a sentient organism without its limited share of joy. If all these moments of joy were to be added on, the joy so experienced by all living creatures from the Creator down to a blade of a grass would be the total joy, Vishayananda, in the universe. This sum of experienced joys by all the sentient bosoms from the day of creation till today is, it is said here, but an infinitesimal portion, lava, of the bliss absolute. When this much is told, the student may probably get a rough and ready concept of the absolute bliss. This is the only available method by which the teacher can give at least a vague intellectual notion of the infinite bliss experienced by a man of realization when he has transcended all the limitations of his mortal existence. I will read once again. The Vishayananda concept is not clear. I will just read once again.
Can you read the
Yeah.
Tatparya first? Then we can go into the
Okay.
second. So that way
Okay.
we see what matches the thing.
Okay. Okay. Deities like Brahma and others taste only a particle of the unlimited bliss of Brahman and enjoy in proportion their share of that particle. I read once again, as internet is unstable notification. Deities like Brahma and others. Others means from the creator himself, Brahmaji, down to the most undeveloped worm, the most insignificant unicellular organism, all enjoy but a share from a minute particle of this infinite bliss of the absolute Brahman. So deities like Brahma and others taste only a particle of the unlimited bliss of Brahman and enjoy in proportion their share of that particle. So that enjoyment again depends on the capacity of the individual that was mentioned. I read once again this last paragraph. This is the method that has been adopted here by Shankara. If we are told that the truth is of the nature of bliss absolute, an ordinary student does not get a clear quantitative concept of the Brahmananda. No doubt there is happiness in everybody's life. There is none who lives as a sentient organism without its limited share of joy. If all these moments of joy were to be added on, the joy so experienced by all living creatures, from the Creator down to a blade of grass, would be the total joy, Vishayananda, in the universe. This sum of experienced joys by all the sentient bosoms from the day of creation till today is, it is said here, but an infinitesimal portion, lava, of the bliss absolute. When this much is told, the student may probably get a rough and ready concept of the absolute bliss. This is the only available method by which the teacher can give at least a vague intellectual notion of the infinite bliss experienced by a man of realization when he has transcended all the limitations of his mortal existence. Can someone help to simplify and explain, please?
There was something about the shareholder and all that you read, right? Is that the previous paragraph? I didn't get that clearly what that meant. Why they were talking about this part.
A daily transaction, it is just like when we are so much used to the quantitative measures. Swamiji has given this example to understand the relative, to explain that infinite bliss. In our daily transactions in the materialistic world, we do employ the same method. So I will just read the previous context as well. We are only shown how even the ethereal joys of even the Creator is but a negligible joy borrowed from it. In fact, you are that absolute bliss itself. A relative picture has been drawn here to give us a wild quantitative measure of the infinitude in terms of a finite yardstick. In our daily transactions in the materialistic world, we do employ the same method. For example, in the annual meeting of a very successful business company, the managing directors may in their report suggest that they are planning to construct extensions involving a large sum of expenditure and may enumerate a dozen other items of expenditure for the convenience and recreation of the staff, involving another large amount apart from a 3 months bonus to all the workers. The shareholders, flabbergasted at this colossal amount involved, would surely get ready to vote the suggestions down. But if the management were to wind up their reports saying that this entire amount budgeted for spending is but a mere 2% of the total profits, all protests are withdrawn as everybody gets a clear picture of the total profit made. So once you are told how much, the 2% of the total profit, and you realize that the total profit is so large, so there is no harm in utilizing the rest. If
Your
someone
voice is breaking, Balaji, that we are not able to hear you clearly. The what you said last minute, but then I did listen to the paragraph you read. So basically, it says that this Atma is like we share that particle of Atma from Brahmaji to down to the blade of grass. It said so every living being or every
thing shares that bliss. So that is compared to that they made some profit and that's been shared with all the employees. Is that what that meant here, right? And
Yes,
that
the other point here Swamiji wants us to realize is that it is just a little what we have been experiencing from Brahmaji to the down to the nanoparticles. It is just a little. It is
yeah,
not
it's a
enough.
little, but then
And
when you see
from
it, the whole thing, then it becomes
yes,
it's vast and infinite, right? Like it's
and
limitless. That,
not only that, we are that
yeah,
from that chunk. We are that,
yeah, that.
not
But
that
then,
just 2%. Yes,
yeah,
that is
you
what
trying to
is.
enjoy that limitless joy is like when you know it is the same, and then it is. I mean, the evenness of the, the this what do you call it? The Swarupa Lakshana. This is where they are explaining
Yeah,
about Swarupa
Satchidanand.
Lakshana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
So it is in everyone. Then, uh,
Yeah, for me, just the word Vishayananda was not clear. Um,
the
if Swamiji
Vishayananda
has.
is that that would be the total joy. That means if all these moments of joy were to be added on, like if you, so there is a Brahmananda. First you read that is Brahmananda, right? This is the method that has been adopted here by Shankara. If we were told that the truth is of the nature of the bliss absolute, an ordinary student does not get a clear quantitative concept of Brahmananda. So what is the quantity, like of this Ananta Brahma, right? So no doubt that is there is happiness in everybody's life. There is none who lives as a sentient organism without its limited share of joy. If all these moments of joy were to be added on, so every say the Atma and mind and everybody else, like every little that particle is added up, that will give you that added on the joy so experienced by all living creatures from the creator down to the blade of grass would be the total joy. That's a Vishyananda in the universe. So this is the sum of the all this um, all that bliss is added on in the whole universe. That's the Vishyananda. And the third one, I mean, that's what I understand, that this sum of experience joys by all the sentient bosons from the day of creation till today it is said here, but infinitesimal portion, lava of the bliss absolute. Um, when we say lava means I feel like I can only remember the volcano when it comes out of it, it gives you out all that stuff. It's a bliss absolute. When this much is told, the student may probably get a rough and ready concept of the absolute bliss. This is the only available method by which the teacher can give at least a vague intellectual notion of the infinite bliss and experienced by a man of realization who when he has transcended all the limitations of his mortal existence. So when somebody who already attained moksha, right, like the jivan mukta, so what his experience would be like, so he knows that the self in himself as well as the and he sees himself in other beings also. So that is the total joy, like he will be extremely into, they call it as ecstasy or bliss, like that Ananta Swarupa. That's what I think. in this
Yeah,
one.
Sarlaji has defined here. Lava means very small portion, minute.
Minute portion, okay.
Jai Gurudev, a little bit Belaji I want to add here. Like what we enjoy is sensual pleasures. So imagine that all creatures from singular cell of amoeba or something, everybody is seeking the joy in the outer world through the senses, from human being to the singular this thing. Add all those sensual pleasures or mental pleasures, emotional pleasures. That also is minuscule in front of the ultimate bliss of the Brahman. So you just cannot compare it just for the example, analogy, or for our small mind to understand. That example is given that 2% of total budget only we are spending, but that also the amount is so huge. So normal person is not able to fathomaize that, and that is why they question. But when the management says it is just 2% of our whole thing, then their mind settle down. So exactly same way they are trying to compare it, including all the jivas and all whatever is in the Brahmand, how they are enjoying the pleasures, add all of them beyond the time. And means not only this moment, every moment, whatever they are enjoying, add all of them, still it is just minuscule. Even Gurudev, when we used to attend that TRMs, no, long TRMs, once he said, no, ki 1,000 times means koti, something koti kalpa, vishram, something of that, like how you feel so pleasant just after deep, beautiful sleep when you get up in the morning. That 8 hours of sleep has given you so much relaxation, so much you feel fresh and prana is high. So koti kalpa vishram, just one fraction of second of samadhi gives that much rest and that much bliss, which is equivalent to koti kalp. So I don't know, it is all beyond our mind fathomization, that comparison. That minuscule and that other thing is beyond our comprehension, I think. Jai Gurudev.
You, Dr. Mara and Madhuri ji. Yeah. So Swamiji has in the beginning only mentioned it is beyond our, I mean, we are so much used to the quantity, no? So we want to know how much. So Swamiji, here it is explained.
Do you want me to read quickly this? This not big, but I will read it from the other one.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Swami, Puja Swami Chinmayanandaji says, a relative picture has been drawn here to give us a wild quantitative measure of infinite bliss in terms of a finite yardstick. So basically, we are just trying to measure it with our scale kind of yardstick. Sri Shankaracharya's ji tries to give us an idea of infinite bliss of the self by saying that only a particle of it is enjoyed by great deities like Brahmaji himself. Then that small particle is sized down even further as it is proportionately enjoyed by all the billions of creatures from Brahmaji down to the least significant ant on the earth. Proportionate enjoyment refers to the varying capacities to enjoy the presence of God according to the degree of evolution of the being. Acharya Ji stated the 5 categories of creatures: those possessing one sense, 2 senses, etc., up to all 5 senses. Each of these categories has different means available to enjoy the presence of bliss in creation. Different means of available to enjoy the presence of bliss in creation. So nothing is said about the 99.9% that is left unenjoyed by creation. This leaves one in awe of the magnitude of the bliss of the self. Only the man of realization can have a true idea of what this bliss really means. To the rest of the mankind, it remains only in the realm of conjecture to ponder over this state. In the Taittiriya Upanishad has an entire Anuvaka chapter on relative joy enjoyed by the Devatas down to the human being. It too has the same purpose, to give us some idea of infinite bliss of the self. The additional step the Upanishad emphasizes is that our enjoyment of bliss is proportional to our degree of renunciation. The greater the renunciation, the greater the bliss. The practical side of the verse is that we should learn to see God even in the most insignificant things around us. Yes, of course, He is there in the grandest part of His creation, and let us not ignore Him in the least of His creation. By this practice, we can begin to taste the bliss drop by drop until we gather the capacity to taste the whole ocean full in due course. So that's what that is. By this practice, we can begin to taste the bliss drop by drop until we gather the capacity to taste the whole ocean full in due course. That you can see that how big it would be when you renunciate and when you get there. Actually, talking about this, I was just quickly reading today's that sloka, which is very well going along with what we are doing with Atma Bodha. There was a little story that it was said in that Tatparya, the explanation. There was a devotee going to the temple and he saw one man, a sadhu, putting his feet on the top of Sivalinga. He was so infuriated. Oh, how can this man put the feet on top of the Sivalinga? So he says, oh, how did you do this? Why do you do that? You made they desecrate the god. So then he says, I don't have energy to take it off of the linga. If you can help me, you can put my foot down. So he takes that foot off of the linga and put it another place. Then wherever he took it and put the foot down, there's another linga appeared. So he took again that foot off that place and put it in another place. Then another linga came. So then the devotee realized the Lord is everywhere. It's not like only one spot. So wherever you're putting that feet, the linga appears. Like that, like this particular where we read today, the God is everywhere. So we need to realize that is, God exists. God is everywhere, not only here, there, like that. Just to I just remembered when I read this, that story was nice.
Yeah, wonderful share. Yeah, the explanation you read for this present.
It's in that Atma Bodha I sent to you guys. Side by side, when I don't understand this part, I like to look at it and this one to see what the other explanation is. So it's kind of a little bit easier to understand.
This was very beautifully described what Dr. Mara has read. It it's a little very clear.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying some of the words like I know that Chinmaya, Swami's Chinmaya, really, he's beautifully, he gives like a lot of explanation, but then uh, this mathematics stuff sometimes we don't get through that. So, and then the technical, the terms, like Vishayan and the Brahman and the, then we are stuck with that word. Then it's better to read it and understand it. Yeah.
Dhanyavad for sharing, Dr. Very nice. The magnitude of the place is so clearly explained.
In the Taittiriya Upanishad, actually, it gives the explanation about the God, like I read it in Tamil. If you guys want to read this Swarupa Lakshana, maybe some of it could be helpful to us. I don't remember exactly which verse it is, but then it's really nice.
With that absolute bliss, we move forward. Tadyuktamakhilam vastu vyavaharastadhanvitaha tasmat sarvagatam brahma kshire sarpirivakhile. Tadyuktam, pervaded by that Brahman, akhilam, all, vastu, objects, vyavaharaha, actions, tadanvitaha, are possible because of that, tasmat, therefore, sarvagatam, permeating everything, Brahma, the Brahman, kshire, in the milk, sarpihi, butter, eva, like, akhile, in everything. Tadyuktam akhilam vastu vyavaharah tadanvitaha tasmat sarvagatam brahma kshire sarpihi eva akhile. All objects are pervaded by Brahman. All actions are possible because of Brahman. Therefore, Brahman permeates everything as butter permeates milk. I repeat, all objects are pervaded by Brahman. All actions are possible because of Brahman. Therefore, Brahman permeates everything as butter permeates milk. What is real in the phenomenal world is Brahman, the substratum. And when it is all pervading in nature, how can anything escape its touch? He is the illuminator of all actions and thoughts, whether here within his body or there without in the world outside. Without its grace, the sense organs in the body are mere holes on the flesh, and the outer world of objects are also gross, inert matter without any symptom of life. But for this all permeating, life giving fire of existence that flows through them all. Very, very beautiful paragraph. I read once again. Please pay attention. What is real in the phenomenal world is Brahman, the substratum. And when it is all pervading in nature, how can anything escape its touch? He is the illuminator of all actions and thoughts, whether here within his body or there without in the world outside. Without its grace, the sense organs in the body are mere holds on the flesh, and the outer world of objects are also gross, inert matter without any symptom of life. But for this all-permeating, life-giving fire of existence that flows through them all. So we are all like a Shava without Shiva. It is so beautifully described.
That bhajan is there, no? Nisarya संसार में शिव नाम केवल सार है शिव भक्ति है शिव शक्ति है शिव मुक्ति का आधार है जय गुरुदेव.
So beautiful to remember. Yes, very true. And without that Shiva, we are all like a Shava, the dead body. So beautiful, yeah. Butter permeates milk, although it is not easy for us to see it directly in the milk. Brahman likewise permeates all objects. Butter is extracted from milk by churning. So also the Atman can be separated from the world of names and forms by intense meditation. And when the spirit is experienced, the world of plurality is no more perceived, as in butter, there is no more any milk. I repeat this paragraph. Butter permeates milk, although it is not easy for us to see it directly in the milk. Brahman likewise permeates all objects. Butter is extracted from milk by churning. So also, the Atman can be separated from the world of names and forms by intense meditation. And when the spirit is experienced, the world of plurality is no more perceived, as in butter, there is no more any milk. So beautiful. We are so fortunate that side by side we are doing the Atma Sanyam Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. So here, that is the journey through which we will be able to take get that butter, which is Brahman. Very beautiful. Anyone wants me to read or repeat? Please let me know.
Yeah, I also want to just say one or two lines ke Shav ko Shiv, how it comes in one bhajan, I know. Can I sing two lines, please?
Yeah, please go ahead.
शव को शिव बनाने की ताकत है गुरु मेरा जीवन मेरी दुनिया मेरी बंदगी है गुरु क्या कहूँ कौन सी दौलत है गुरु मेरी जीवन मेरी दुनिया मेरी बंदगी है गुरु. Thank you.
Wow, very beautiful, very beautiful. Very nice.
Yeah, actually it is Guru, you know, जो हमारा शव, we all are shavs, जो शिव बनाने की ताकत रखते हैं, and that's how we progress on this path.
Very true.
Thank you.
Yes.
One thing more I want to add, like whatever qualities, attributes you have, like you are a singer, you are in this knowledge, or you are in doing anything, it's because of that Brahman which is acting through you. You are just the medium, and that we have that iron ocean. It erupts. The iron ocean is there. It is like that. All these qualities, all the attributes which we have, they merge in our self, just like the butter merges with the milk. And only when we realize, when we are doing meditations or we are on this on the knowledge path, that we realize that it is not, we are not anything. It's only that the Brahman is acting through us. Whatever quality we have, it's not I who have, it is he is acting through us. Jai Gurudev.
Yeah, very beautiful. So becoming that hollow and empty like a bansuri. Yes, so beautiful. We are just the instruments. That I notion, that's what we have to do through meditation. We have to get rid of that. And he is the one who is, with his Guru's grace, we are able to perform the things. Yeah. So we will stop here for Manana. I think we will stop here for Manana. I will just once again read all the verses so that we can have our takeaways. I read from.
I think Bela ji, we were doing Manana side by side. If you can read one more shloka, no? We have still some time. Because discussion is going side by side. So I don't think Manana, or if anybody else wants, please go ahead.
Whatever it is, just let me know. I will read one more shloka and then we can go to chapter 6. This was the shloka. Ananu asthulam rasvam. Kindly forgive me if I pronounce it wrong. Please help me to correct. Ananvasthulam rasvam madirgham majamam vyayam arupa gunavarnakyam tad brahmetyavadharayet. Brahmaraji, kindly correct my pronunciation if I'm wrong.
That was very good, Bela.
Ananu, neither subtle, asthulam nor gross, arasvam, neither short, adirgham nor long, ajam, without birth, avyayam, without change, arupa guna varnakyam, arupa guna varnakyam, without form, qualities, color and name. Tat Brahma, that to be Brahman, iti, thus avadharayet, realize. Ananu, asthulam, arasvam, adirgham, ajam, avyayam, arupa gunavarnakyam, tat Brahma iti avadharayet. So beautiful word. Remember these words, ananu, asthulam, rasvam, adirgham, ajam, avyayam, gunavarnam, tad brahma iti avadharayet. Realize that to be Brahman, which is neither subtle nor gross, neither short nor long, without birth or change, without form, qualities, color, and name. I repeat, realize that to be Brahman, which is neither subtle nor gross, neither short nor long, without birth or change, without form, qualities, color, and name. In the last stanza, it was stated that all objects are pervaded by Brahman. Elaborating the point further, it is here referred to as neither gross nor subtle. It pervades all. It is the substratum for everything. Split or cleave even an atom, and there too we find but its presence. So beautiful. Finite objects which are bound by limitations of space and time are either gross or subtle. But this timeless time and spaceless space, the infinitude of the infinite, cannot be bound by space, time, causation, and hence can be only defined in negative terms such as neither gross nor subtle, etc. I repeat once again, finite objects which are bound by limitations of space and time are either gross or subtle. But this timeless time and spaceless space, the infinitude of the infinite, cannot be bound by space, time, causation, and hence can be only defined in negative terms such as neither gross nor subtle. What is born is mind and intellect and the object of the outer world, not the Brahman who is the existence in the very progenitor of creation, the very knower of the first uncaused cause. This infinite reality is irreducible, formless, with neither quality nor caste or name. Naturally, it is indescribable. It cannot be an object of either our perception or our feelings or our thoughts. This is a description of the infinite in the language of negation. Language has its own limitations. It can describe only themes that have qualities, guna, or function, kriya, or name, nama, or qualifications, vishesha, or relationship with others, sambandha. None of these are for the one eternal infinite, substratum for everything, and hence it must be elude language and remain as indescribable. This technique of describing the infinite by the process of negation is made use of only in our scriptures. These terms are to be considered as so many arrow marks indicating truth. They are not in themselves positive definitions of that. Know that to be the Brahman. So beautiful. So we have all the limitations to describe, but it is beyond our descriptions. What is born is the only body, mind, intellect. Brahman is never born or it never dies. It is immortal. And we are that subjective reality. If you want me to read or repeat anything, please let me know. I will read the last paragraph once again. Language has its own limitations. It can describe only themes that have qualities, guna, or function, kriya, or name, nama, or qualifications, vishesha, or relationship with others, sambandha. So this is all about the mithya thing. We are so much used to. We are conditioned to these qualities only. None of these are for the one eternal infinite, substratum for everything, and hence it must be elude language and remain as indescribable. This technique of describing the infinite by the process of negation is made use of only in our scriptures. These terms are to be considered as so many arrow marks indicating that truth. They are not in themselves positive definitions of that. Know that to be the Brahman. So as Raman Maharshi points out, no, who am I? Thus, when we start negating, I'm not that body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the intellect. And through that negation, we will be able to reach to that core, which is the subjective reality, which is the substratum of the whole existence. So it does not have any naam, gun, kriya, visheshan or sambandh. It is beyond description of all these qualitative yardsticks.
This was described in the shloka 56 also, when the Satchitananda state, that the experience of that pure state, it cannot be described because it will then be limited by the feeble powers of our speech. And it is, I'm just reading from this text, it is that light which is eternally here in you and everywhere you roam about. The moments of perfect attunement with it are the moments of self-realization. So the words, the words doesn't have the power to describe that state. It's only that your attunement with the Brahman, that the self-realization of the moments of the self-realization which you experience, it is indescribable.
Also, the other sloka where Atma is described as Nirgunaha, Nishkriyaha, Nityaha, like that, right? Like
Yes, yes. Most of the
Nirakara, Nirvikala.
nirguna.
Yeah, Nirvikaraga, no, Nirvikalpaga, I think. Nirvikalpaga.
Nirgunaha.
Nirakaraga, Niranchanaga. And then
Nirguna,
Yavar.
Nishkriyo, that is Dr. Mara. Nirguno, Nishkriyo, Nityo.
Yeah, that one. That describes all Nityo, and then Ever Mukta is like, and then Nirmala, the last one. Okay. I read, I think it's a 9 qualities.
It is 34 shloka. Nirguna. Nirguna, Nishkriya, Nitya, Nirvikalpa, Niranjana, Nirvikara, Nirakara, Nitya Mukta, Nirmala.
Nirvikaraga, Nitrakaraga. That's what it changeless, and Nirakaraga is that what is Nirakaraga means? Nirvikaraga is changeless, formless. Nirakara.
Nirguna is without attributes, Nishkriya without actions, Nitya eternal, Nirvikalpa without any desire and thought, Niranjana without any dirt, Nirvikara without any change, Nirakara without form, Nitya Mukta ever liberated, and Nirmala ever pure. All the qualities, attributes of
Yeah.
Atma.
So this is that this describes all the quality.
Yeah. You want to read, Dr. Mara? You want to read this 34th?
No, it's fine. Yeah, you can read it. I just said, I said that the one the last one you were reading, that these are the things that we kind of meditate on. And
yes. निर्गुणो निष्क्रियो नित्यो निर्विकल्पो निरञ्जनः निर्विकारो निराकारो नित्यमुक्तोऽस्मि निर्मलः. I am without attributes and actions, eternal, nitya, without any desire and thought, nirvikalpa, without any dirt, niranjana, without any change, nirvikara, without form, nirakara, ever liberated, nitya mukta, ever pure, nirmala. So these are very beautiful words to contemplate. And with that, we will just close our eyes for a few minutes with these words of contemplation. And then we will do chapter 6. Hari Om, Jai Gurudev. Anyone wants to share about the Atma Bodha? Or we go to chapter 6? Anybody is ready with chapter 6? Shloka, I think today 15th, right? Shloka 15th. Anybody is... Kindly share anything, about the Atma Bodha till I share chapter 6 file. Kindly discuss about a few, whoever can contribute. Please continue so that we do not miss the link.
Yeah, Jai Gurudev. I think the last shloka that we read in Atma Bodh was also describing the Atma as Tatastha Lakshana, right? It was not the Swarupa Lakshana. Saying this. Oh.
The Swarupa Lakshana, right? Like
Yeah.
the last
And
2-3 slokas they were talking about Swarupa Lakshana.
And again and again, it's pointing back to the practice of contemplation and meditation. We require all this knowledge, yes, but just having knowledge is not sufficient. Contemplation and meditating on that will take us deeper into experiencing what this bliss is. And very rightly, as Dr. Mara read about how it is explained in the Taittiriya Upanishad, how in increasing magnitude, how the bliss of what a human being experiences to what a devata experiences, to what Brahma, what happens in Brahma Loka, all that is so beautifully given in the form of poetry, in the form of verses in the Taittiriya Upanishad. It is said the joy that we get out of sexual pleasure, humans, that is just one infinitesimal part of what the actual bliss is. So that way, if you can extrapolate it, it is it's actually quite You cannot describe it.
So anybody is doing, or we will just this the chapter verse 15th, right? We completed 13, 14.
Yeah, I think we should get back to encouraging all of us, of course.
Yes, it is so
Anyone
much
who's
in line with our Atma Bodha, and
correct.
we are so fortunate that we are able to do it simultaneously.
I think if
So
no one
here,
is ready with the verse for today, Bela, what we'll do is we'll read the verse and
yeah,
run through the PDF. But it'll be nice for any one of us, me included, to come back with giving the gist and the summary of verse 15.
very,
So we
very
can
true.
all prepare, whoever is going to be ready with verse 16, 17, if we can start from now so that
Yeah.
it
This
will be
text
a
is
smooth flow.
visible. I mean, is it
It's visible, yeah,
visible?
it's visible.
No, I mean, because I feel it is right aligned. I'm not able to move it to left side. Is it right aligned? I mean, you are
It's
not able
okay, it
to,
is visible, it
it's
is within
okay?
the frame,
Okay,
not an issue.
okay. That's what I wanted. Because I could not find the original text, what I daily share. So I shared from the other one. Okay. Okay, so yesterday, as we had seen in verse 13 and 14, as how meditators should sit, and it is not only the physical state, but even the mind. It should be achala, it should be steady. And matta chitta matta para. We have to be single pointed focused with that only him in our all the actions. Whatever we are doing as a karma yogi, we have to have him only as our, you can say that like what we are told, like a tambura, he should be at the back of our mind always. Matta chitta matta para.
So
Ishvara param.
Matchitta is having Ishvara in the mind constantly, and Matpara is having him as the goal, as the ultimate accomplishment.
Yes.
To the exclusion of all else.
Hmm.
Problem is we have so many, like Swamiji explained, we have blood pressure para, we have wealth para. So when we sit for meditation, it depends on what is your paya. People take to yoga and meditation for different reasons. Most of them do it for health reasons. Most of them do it as as part of their sadhana. But what is your ultimate thing? That matpara is, it actually elevates the intention to the highest, which is what Gurudev keeps saying. He says, if you ask for the highest. Don't ask for a job, salary raise, and this one, all this little mundane thing. Aim for the highest. So that matpara is like aiming for the highest. That is the ultimate accomplishment, ultimate goal. And matchitta is like that tambura, all the time having him in your mind.
So I will
In
just
fact, both of
again,
them actually meet at one point, which is
and the conditions are samatvam, ekatvam, nisangatvam, and indriya nigraha. So we just have to remember, keep on remembering, recalling these all words as we move further. Ekatvam with the Brahma Tattva, Samatvam in the Srishti, Nisangatvam when we are doing action, and Indriya Nigraha that Bhagwan will further explain. Okay, so I will just read. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana paramam matsamsthamadhigacchati. Evam, in this manner, sada, always, atmanam, the mind, yunjan, connecting, niyatamanasah, the one whose mind is mastered, yogi, the meditator, nirvana paramam, that which is the ultimate liberation, mat samstham, that which is centered on me, shantim, peace, adhigacchati, gains. Evam sada atmanam yunjan niyatamanasah yogi nirvana paramam mat samstham shantim adhigacchati. Always connecting the mind in this manner, meditator, the one whose mind is mastered, gains the peace which is centered on me, which is in the form of an absorption in me, which is the ultimate liberation. I will read once again. Always connecting the mind in this manner, the meditator, the one whose mind is mastered, gains the peace which is centered on me, which is in the form of an absorption in me, which is the ultimate liberation. In this verse, Krishna mentions the ultimate end to be gained as a result of dhyana yoga meditation. Here the word sada, always, may raise the question, when does the meditator have time for other activities such as eating, bathing and sleeping? Sada here simply indicates that the person does not waste time using whatever time is available for this particular pursuit. Atma here refers to the mind, which is always connected in this manner. Yunjan evam sadatmanam, meaning in all the ways already described, starting from finding the place and preparing the seat, etc. Shuchau deshe chaila ajina kushottaram. That was about the seat in the chapter 6, 11 shloka. The mind is connected, absorbed in Brahman, which is Parmeshwara, Paramatma, the Swarupa of Atma. And how does one connect the mind to the Swarupa of Atma? Through contemplative words, which is why words are so important. Through a word, you can connect yourself to Atma. And what kind of words? In contemplation, we make use of revealing words, words that reveal the Swarupa of Atma, and thereby connect the mind to Atma. Yunjan means meditating or connecting the mind, the antakarana, to the object of meditation, which in fact is the act of meditating. In this verse, person is again described as one who has mastered the mind, one whose mind is tranquil, whose mind is absorbed, niyatamanasa. And what does this niyatamanasa gain? Meditating, the person comes to understand properly what is being said. All that is taught becomes clear because there are no obstructions for the person. Therefore, the teaching becomes real and he or she gains shanti. Shantim adhigacchati. The meaning of shanti. Shanti usually means peace. Does this mean that after doing meditation, all you will get out of it is the same peace that can be gained from a tranquilizer or a shot of something? No, this Shanti is not that kind of peace. It is Mat Samstha and Nirvana Parama. In his commentary, Shankara defined Shanti as Uparati, Uparati meaning resolution or sarva karma sannyasa, wherein doership and enjoyership are renounced as discussed at length previously. Nirvana means moksha. Therefore, this is a Shanti that has its basis in moksha. It is moksha Shanti itself. I think we will see the meaning of Shanti tomorrow. We will just try to recall those words Nirguna, Nirvikara, Nirvikalpa, Niranjana. We will try to remember those words.
I'll do that tomorrow, this number 15, Dr. Ramra.
Oh, that's wonderful, Dr. Mara.
Yeah, I read it quickly today, but then I wasn't prepared enough to go over it
Yeah.
completely. If possible, I'll try 16, but then this is...
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
do
do 15. We'll listen to your summary tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll wind up here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev.